What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky Reviews, we're going to take a look at the next in the line of the Gundam Build Divers kits. And we do have the Grimoire Red Beret, which was pretty much one of the most, expected one, I guess, most anticipated. Ever since the first episode, or even the prologue, technically speaking, people have been really wanting to see this thing. I guess the Grimoire by itself, I've never seen or built from G-Reco. So this is a first for me, and everybody just loves Rommel's character. Everybody loves the good old ferret general person. And of course you get a great shot of it right here, along with his little minimoires. Yes, they are your minimoires. You got HG Build Divers here, you got the Build Divers logo there, and you got Grimoire Red Beret in big letters, and you got HG 1144 Grimoire Red Beret. We kind of knew that already, Bandai. Oh yeah, 2018. That's a thing. Oh, and you got a light reflecting over here. Now, if you come to the bottom, you got action. You got models, characteristically, massive proportion, wide range, joint. Okay. You got widely articulated scissor claws. Got stuff hidden in the legs. That's cool. You got a shield. Yay. You got plasma knife. In what way is it a plasma knife? You got an assault rifle that breaks down into multiple parts. That's pretty cool. Actually, it says various weapons, but either way. You got minimoires right there. You got them. They can be crammed in the minimoire sack on the back. Wow, they made that rhyme. Just call it a backpack. Just call it what it is, for the love of God. And you got to line up and build custom, so you can throw all kinds of cool stuff on the things. Mostly showing tilt rotor there for some reason, but hey, it is what it is. Come to this side, you got number 3 in the line. We're kind of going in numerical order, best we can here. You got a repeat of the box art, looking pretty good there. BandaiHobby.net right there. And you got obligatory front and rear shots right there, along with a nice read-up. If you want to pause it and read that, go right ahead. And then, of course, you got the story introduction right there. GundamBD.net. That's pretty cool. And you've got a Aegis 3 Plus situation there. No, that's actually just don't stick a red beret in your 3-year-old's face. Anyways. And you got polybags up there. They'll give the toilet, 1,800 yen. Decent price. It does come with a good amount of stuff. And I think because it's a newer kit, that's probably why they went that way, being that G-Reco is only a couple years old. And illustrations by Como, and background images by Saito Yoshinobu. I almost lost the ability to read that for some strange reason. But hey, even your minimoires won't save you from being upside down. That's right, Rommel. Upside down. Oh, by the way, there's build montage. Let's go. Alright, with that build montage out of the way, it's time to look at the Red Beret. And I have really, really dug this kit. I never built a Grimoire before, but now I'm wishing I had. And just the cool stuff that this one comes with it's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. And yeah, I've got him stripped down more or less to his base form here, just so we can really take a look at everything as it comes. And I've done a couple things here and there to sort of change it up. Nothing major. You can see you got the red star, or I'm sorry, the white star on the shoulder here. They do give you 2 shoulder bits, so if you want one with and without a star, by all means, because they give you 3 stars to play with. So let's get him off this little base here. But just real quick, he does fit on the stand, all nice and snug, so you can get him in some flight poses as well. Now, since he's sort of unencumbered by all his weapons and other things, we can go ahead and do articulation and details and stuff like that. So you do get the nice red head right here. I guess it said something about a blood-drenched head on the thing. And you get the nice kind of bluish-green eyeballs going on through there. Now, it is a sticker placed on the back, and then the lens in front of it gives that nice effect. You get the foil sticker across here, looking pretty good. And it did add some of my favorites, dark gray ever, right there on that little Vulcan or whatever it is. Up here on these little parts of the front skirt. Wow, that arm just doesn't want to stay plugged in. A little bit of gray right there, probably needs to be scraped off some of the excess there. Inside those, what I assume are thrusters, also got some gray. These little, what I assume are little maneuvering vernier, also got some gray. Same thing with these little side skirts, kind of samurai-like a little bit. You don't have to paint those. I did it just because it actually breaks up some of that gray. There's a green, I'm sorry. And then right there, breaking that up, a little bit sloppy. I should probably clean that up after this. And I will say that some of the stickers, like back here, like all 3 of the Grimoire heads that you get, all have that, and they don't fit quite right. So you will damage those ever so slightly while putting them in. Maybe you'll be a little bit better off than I was. Now the head is just on a standard double polycap, or double ball joint polycap. It does rotate, doesn't go all the way around because, well, you're just not going to get all the way around with that. You can kick it forward a little bit, you can kick it back just a little bit, but other than that, you're not getting a whole lot of articulation out of it. Now the shoulders, you do get the polycap in the butterfly right here, so he can shrug ever so slightly. These little jetty out points kind of annoy me. They get in the way of articulation, so you would get a little bit more out of the shoulder joint here. It does rotate on a hinge right there, so you're not relying on the ball joint inside the polycap for that movement. And the shoulder armor does rotate as well, like flip-floppy. And then this part does rotate ever so slightly. As you can tell, it just plugs in there. You get bicep rotation, and you get it's actually technically a double jointed elbow, so the elbow itself does move, but then you get just a little bit of tilt out of it. So you're not going to get perfect, but you can get a good 90 degrees and not too much of a high teacher. The wrist, while it would be great if this whole thing was actually a solid wrist joint, it's not. It's just a normal kind of HG hand in a big hole, honestly. But you can't rotate as well. These are nice big hands. I like the color separation. Also, I did use green panel liner on most of this. The red got with some gray panel liner, but everything else on here, all the couple different shades of green, got the green panel line marker. Now, the torso has some cool articulation. So you can see here, you can get a little bit of back and forth ab crunch just with the top section it moves. It also rotates independently. And then you got the center ball section that can rotate like so. No pivot or anything like that, or no crunch. So you can really get an interesting twist. So I really do dig that about the Grimoire. The front skirts are split and can move individually like so. Side skirts also pivot up and out of the way very nicely. The legs, I don't believe you have a shimmy in the hips, but you can kick about that far forward, a little bit further if you move the thingy out of the way, and you can kick back about that far. I will say something about this kit I just thought about. Most of it, and maybe this is a G-Reco thing, is a soft-ish plastic. Nubs are super easy to clean. Nothing is very difficult. It's all almost the same plastic that you get out of the IBO inner frames. So a little bit soft, and I dig it. As for the thigh rotation. It's there. It's a big chunky thigh. You can do that. And you have a single jointed knee. Gets you 90 degrees, like so. The ankle is articulated fairly well. You can pivot like so. You can kick it back and forth. You do have a wheel back here in the heel that does rotate. And the ankle armor itself is on a ball joint that plugs into the side of the ankle, so it can go up and down and turn just a little bit. I would suggest gluing some of these bits on just because. Now this thing has a little bit of thing here, so I guess he's supposed to have like roller skates so he can just skate around everywhere. I don't know if that's not an original Grimoire idea, so that's new, because it does come with totally different feet otherwise. Now I will say that he does have the ability to flip out a little toe blade. That's pretty cool. You got it on both sides. These aren't wheels, they're just made to look like wheels. But this also plays into these hidden like scissor scythe blades in the legs. So that has a pivot point and can also rotate as well. And of course that's where your only star really does go. Now this will probably come into play more when he can fly around and like grab things with his legs, which I don't know why you do that, but you can. Let me just flop those right back down. And then technically an accessory, but it plays into this. You do get a left expressive hand, which is super easy to swap out. So if you wanted a cool high teacher, you can almost do it. And it's just the almost. Maybe if I really rotate the arm all the way around, you can get a high teacher. But if these things weren't in the way, you could probably get a lot more. I don't know why that's part of the design. I guess it just is. So let's go ahead and move on to all the fun weapons and toys this guy has. Alright, so first and foremost, we can look at his assault rifle kind of dealy. And it is definitely a big old military-inspired assault rifle. Now there's something cool about it. It does break down into multiple weapons. So first and foremost, you can pop this guy off. And it's its own little like grenade launcher sort of thingy. You can see it's got the little fake trigger there. So you can plug it into the hand and be like, I got a little gun. So that's actually pretty neat. I like that. That one is actually the loosest fit. It just has a tab that goes in right there. Focus on me, thank you. Has a little tab that goes in there, and then it plugs into the bottom of this barrel. Now this entire barrel can come off as well, so you can have a much shorter, like snubby rifle, though I'm sure there's other weapons that are going to be able to plug into that in the future. I like the extended magazine coming out the bottom of the handle. I dig that, but you also have this little pistol totally hanging out at the back. Now you can hold this one, but you're going to have to take the hand off to do that. So he actually does have multiple weapons. I really do dig that. You know, it's a little bit of versatility goes a long way, especially with something like this. I like that he can just grab a different handle, grab a different trigger, and fire something else. He could also just grab another thingy, pick up a new weapon. You also get a nice foil sticker for the scope, and you plug the whole thingy right onto the back of his hand. Fits very nicely. Similar to just standard HG hands. No problem. Well, minor problem. Just wanting to plug that back in. Come on, buddy. Quit fighting me. There we go. And you get that. No real weapon storage on the actual suit, but what the heck? You don't need it. You just got a big old gun to do what you got to do. Now, he does come with defensive weaponry, more or less. He's got a shield. I believe this is just a standard Grimoire shield. Super simple. Doesn't do a whole lot. Does have just the pivot point here and the attachment for the arm. You can go one way or the other. Now the way it attaches, you've got a little groove right there in the arm. You have a tab right there that very, and I mean very mildly tabs in. You just kind of encase the arm a little, and it just sort of sits in there. It's not a real connection by any means. It just kind of holds friction at best. And you can go back of the arm like so, so you can have the scooping motion, or you can go like a normal person and plug it in on the side. You just got to get it up underneath that shoulder armor or else it won't work. And honestly, I dig the shield. It's a little shield, but it's very effective. And of course the color scheme on this guy is very much thing. Which, by the way, is referencing a couple different things here, and I think most people recognize the scope dog situation that's happening, and I do dig that. I'll bring up an image right over here. Hopefully I can find a good one. But, yeah, that's cool. Now, he does have his little, what do they call it, plasma knife? The little plasma knife. It's just a little, like, blade. It's pretty cool. You do have to paint the blade part silver. You see my silver marker is not the great. It wasn't very shooken up, as it were. And you can hold it. You just have to take the hand apart mildly. That shoulder just really likes to let go lately. I don't know what's going on with that. But you can hold his knife. You can hold it vertically. You can hold it horizontally. You can do all the things you want to do with it. That was kind of a blind grab. I just knew the arm was back there somewhere. And well, I guess it's convenient that the shield fell off. Just get it out of my way. But you can totally do that. And I like that the pivot in the wrist really does give you the ability to kind of flex that, so to speak. Now, he does actually have weapon storage on his body for the knife. And I didn't even catch this the first go-round. I had to read back through the instructions. But if one is so inclined, well, you stick that on there. Now, it's a little hard to access, but it's right back in here. Let's see if I can get some light. You can see. Right in here. I really can't get, despite all my lighting here, I can't get a light in there. There we go. You can see the slot right through there, and you can just slide the blade right in there, and you have a nice hidden knife in the back skirt. I dig that. I dig that a lot, because his other knives don't really have storage in that same capacity. And those knives, of course, are up inside this big old backpack. Now, this backpack really does strike me as very, very similar to a ground-type Gundam. I don't know if that's exactly what they were going for, but it does work. I did throw my last little white star on there for good luck. It is a 4-piece construction consisting of the back, the front, the 2 sides, and you got some thruster vents going on right there, and some really ugly nubs, but hey, it is what it is. And it does hinge open, revealing minimoire storage. Yay! Now, of course, to complete the look here, you do have to stick them on the back. Now, we haven't seen the minimoires in action in the series, and I really hope we do, because we are in the middle of a big battle right now, so I'm hoping that they will come out. Speaking of coming out, you just reach up in here, and you grab one. We'll grab Bluey, and then we'll grab Greenie, right there. And the cool thing is, their knives store back in there as well. Just close up the backpack and set him aside, and we will look at these little guys. So you've got minimoires. I really do dig this, and I fully admit, guys, when I first put this together, I wasn't paying attention. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had the green one in my hand. Where is my focus? So I had the green one in my hand, and I had accidentally put the green sticker back there, so I actually ended up having to peel it out. And actually, these guys right here do have their own little bodies, as you can see here. And I screwed that up by popping that out. So it's the same kind of ball joint as the neck joint, but they do have tiny little feeties. So you can see tiny little... Can't hold on to anything. Tiny little feeties and a little bitty clip back there for holding on to things. I'm guessing this is a little bitty cannon, and this is a little bitty claw hand. So these little guys can zoom about, all Jetson-like, and they do have their color-coded weapons. So you have the green knife, which you can store on the back, like so. Or, if you wanted to wield the knife, which is a really funny situation, you just grab it and you stick it in the little claw, and now it can be a little fly-around stabby guy. Now, these really remind me of some of the little aliens from Batteries Not Included. Please let me know if you guys know the movie I'm talking about. Now, I'm not a huge fan of how that looks. I actually kind of prefer to tilt these things all the way back and hold the knives like that, or even a little and grip it a little higher on the thing. I kind of like this look a little bit better, but to each their own, whatever you want to do. And of course you've got Bluey, which actually, fun fact, was the name of one of my teddy bears growing up. And he gets some nice gold camera sticker action. I really do like that. Once again, same gun, same claw, same blue knife. I like the blue knife the best, I think. And you can store it the same way as everybody else does. So, of course, you can totally swap out the heads if you really want to. So just pop off a head, pop off a head. Now, I don't know if in the series this is going to afford him, like, maybe a different ability, or maybe it's a different pilot. See, for me, I would have thought that, like, backup pilots would work this way, something along those lines. So you just swap out the neck joint, and I kind of wish I had some spare polycaps so I could just do that. So if you want an all-green version, maybe even make him not the commander, pull off the shoulder armor, and now you just have a Grimoire, as it were. And if you want to pop that one off and swap out for the blue one, once again, I don't know if it affords him anything different in the series, but there you go. So you got the Grimoire blue. So yay for that. Okay, and for a quick comparison, we could bring in the Gym 3 from last time, the 00 Diver, wherever my framing is, and then his main rival, the Champions Age 2, which that's a pretty good looking set, although the Gym 3 is once again my least favorite so far, especially given that this one is so good. The Gym 3 is a major letdown for me, guys. And I hate to keep harping on it. It's just, it could be so much better. And it's not. So that saddens me. Alright guys, so for final thoughts, so far this one is definitely my favorite. The articulation is amazing, the build was actually fun, comes with so many gimmicks and weapons that just make it worth it in my opinion. And it's got a lot of fun references already built in, and I can see why this guy probably would be the number 2 in the series, because he's just that cool, as far as I can tell. Price is reasonable for what you get, and I mean, yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It's just, it speaks for itself. It's awesome. But guys, if of course you want to get your own, by all means, go snag it. They're running out everywhere as far as I can tell. Of course, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, hit that button down there if you are new here. Of course, I do videos like this all the time. Not just Gunpla, but all kinds of other fun, nerdy stuff, and toys and collectibles and all such and things. And if you want to help support the channel from the background, and maybe even see some stuff that other people never see, or just get early access, check out the Patreon right here, and you can join up like John, Andy, Steve, Kolby, and TheKrowSama have. And of course, that will all go to help support the channel and keep me afloat, because, you know, YouTube money is not always that great. So, you know, every little bit can help, and if I could get up to about $200 a month just from Patreon, I don't have to rely as much on YouTube. Of course, if you want to get a t-shirt and actually help out the channel at the same time, you can totally do that. That'll be right here on the screen. Got new designs coming sometime soon if you're interested in that. But that's going to be it for this review of the HG Red Beret. And of course, go back and check out the rest of the Build Divers videos. And of course, look out for all the new ones coming sometime soon, because, of course, these things are coming out every week at this point. I'll catch you guys on the next review. And remember, as always, to keep on building.